Jimmy on the beat, boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. I'm John J. II here with double coverage with GSN, and it's Conference Championship Sunday. Welcome. We've made it. And this is the step one. It's been happening for a couple weeks now, leading into the final days of the NFL season in 2024 until preseason, again, until we travel back into the preseason phase of our NFL fandom and us following the league. So, listen, it's the beginning of the end, but it's a happy day. Why? For most people, it's because their Detroit Lions are in the conference championship. To win the NFC North was a hell of a feat. But to be here, to arrive at the conference championship to face the one seed San Francisco 49ers, it is quite the feat, to say the least. So it's a great day. It's a great day. And listen, I'm wearing my Lions sweatshirt, by the way, too. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling enthused for the Lions. We're going to talk about their game, break it down here in a little bit, and talk about what this day means to everyone playing. There's 4 teams left, and it took a long road to get here. A lot of injuries, a lot of grit, and a lot of faith in your players, personnel, coaches, etc., to get to where you got today. Otherwise, these teams wouldn't be here. So real quick, I just want to talk about the fandom aspects. So people say, "Oh, why are you wearing a Lions sweatshirt? Or why are you rooting for the Lions today?" Listen, I'm doing it for my state, and I've said it before, but I'm a big fan of this guy right here, pointing the wrong way. Dan Campbell. I've been a fan of Dan Campbell since he said he was going to be biting kneecaps off. And I'm really happy to see this guy in this position with this team, this franchise that they've built so much upon what they have to offer this season. And they've really made a name for themselves, to say the least. They did that last year, fell a little bit short. They were counting on too many other teams to win to make it to the playoffs. Who knows what would have happened last year with the run they were on. But they rode that momentum going into this year. And as I talked to with Rocco and Musa and others, it was kind of a pipe dream to expect them to carry on that momentum from last season into this season, but it wasn't too far fetched. It makes more sense than it doesn't make sense, because you expect the personnel changes. First of all, everyone that Jared Goff has weapons wise, there's really no reason they shouldn't be here. And I bitched and moaned about the fact that I wish Jared Goff was a little bit more athletic, and the difference between being mobile and being athletic. We reviewed that, talked about it, talked about Patrick Mahomes, and talked about how maybe he's not the most athletic guy on the field, but he's mobile. He can get out of trouble. He can scramble for a first down. He can get first down yardage and continue a drive, where Jared Goff, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to squeeze by this San Francisco defense. It's just not going to happen. So let's just take a look at the spread real quick while we have Dan Campbell with us. Detroit at San Francisco. San Francisco minus 7.5. This changed from -7. Why did this happen? I think it's because Deebo Samuel has been cleared from his shoulder injury, which he was questionable going into Friday. Going into the weekend, we're like, okay, I don't know if Deebo Samuel's going to play. Obviously, a huge weapon for Brock Purdy in that 49ers offense. Huge weapon. Had him on my fantasy team, carried my team most weeks. Still fell short and took it on the nose and got our ass kicked a lot of times. But you can't do it all with one player. It's not a one-man band. It's not a one-man show type deal. But in the 49ers regard, it is somewhat of a one-man show with this guy basically running the offense. He runs the offense from the wide receiver position. And if he's cleared to be healthy, I know he's a tough player. I know he's going to play through some pain. And yeah, that shoulder's probably going to bother him. You give him a couple pops, which the Detroit Lions defense has been popping on defense. They've been popping with tackles. They've been hitting hard, and it's exciting to watch. I'll be honest with you. It's really exciting to watch. And another point to my whole ability to root for the Lions. I can root for whoever I want, first of all. Okay. They're in my state, my home state of Michigan. I'm going to root for the Lions. I'm going to root for whoever the hell I want to, first off. And second of all, they've survived a lot of the trials and tribulations that a lot of people didn't expect them to. One, from beating the Chiefs, even without, Travis Maato on the team. They beat the Chiefs by 1 point. And you can't really sweat that off, and they could possibly see them in the Super Bowl. You never know. And it could be a different story with Travis Maato in the game this time around. But listen, they beat them, first of all, and they beat a lot of teams. They proved themselves in a lot of stages where people doubted them. Okay, and even making it this far, winning the NFC North, first of all, to going forward, beating the Rams, then beating the Bucs, both solid teams as of late, both postseason teams historically. To beat them and you're in bonus territory if you're the Lions right now. That has to be noted as well. You're in bonus territory, so you got to be happy basically wherever you're at. If you're here right now and you're the Lions, you're a Lions fan, you got to be happy with where you're at and what you accomplished, regardless of what happens today, regardless of what happens at any point today. Okay, hold your heads high. You guys stuck with them. And I saw a TikTok earlier. It was a montage of a guy going through the years, through the decades, back into the early 90s, of just watching the Lions. It was just a picture of his face with the years trickling by, and it's just a long face, sad face. And as soon as it gets to 2023, 24, the facial expression changes. It's like, oh man, I waited this long to get here. Wow, we're finally here. And some people waited longer than others. A lot of people, a lot more people than those that didn't have to wait as long. So you made it here, and you made it a lot farther than the Lions have in a very long time. So for that, you should be happy for it. So regardless of the spread change, here's where I'm at with the Lions playing today, and I'm riding it. I'm drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid. I've had a couple Kool-Aids this morning to myself, some Honolulu Blue Kool-Aids, and they're tasting good. They're flowing like water, and I'm feeling good about this Lions team. Looking at the 7.5 point spread, that does not faze me one bit. And I'll tell you this, it's not fazing Dan Campbell. If anything, it's giving these Detroit Lions a little more fire, just a little more fire than they already had. It's giving them the fire, the extra little bit that they needed, I think, going into this Sunday. So you're playing a 6:30 p.m. game on the West Coast. You're not playing at Ford Field where you feel comfortable. You feel like you're at home. You're playing on the West Coast. You're playing outdoors. Hopefully, they became acclimated to the weather, to the conditions going on, everything that's happening out there in San Fran, and they got to take all that into account. So, what are the keys to win for the Detroit Lions? We talked to Rocco about the keys to win, playing against the Bucks, and just moving forward. What are the keys to win? What do they have to do? What do they have to be wary of? They have to play well on offense, have to stay aggressive. That offensive line has to play their asses off because they know Jared Goff is basically a paper mache man. He is. And I wish he wasn't, because if you just get him a little bit more athletic, I'm talking just a little bit more athletic, a little bit more mobile, a little bit more comfortable in the pocket. Not too comfortable, because sometimes that pocket's collapsing on him and he's still acting comfortable and he just gets sacked. It's like, oh my God, is that the last hit guys, is that the last play that this man will ever play? And thank God he's very strong. He's very strong-witted. He's taken a lot of hard hits in his day. So he's a very durable human being. But just think, if he got more athletic, if he got a little bit more mobile, escaped out of a couple, third down situations where it's like, okay, we got to scramble. We need our quarterback here to get us a first down. We got to scramble. We got to get the first down. I mean, we're back on our own 35, 40. We don't want to go for another fake punt and hope that works against this 49ers team, because Dan Campbell, he's not too scared to do that. Okay, we've seen him do it on his own 40. He's not scared to do it. You don't want to put your offense in that position, first of all. I'm talking just a little bit more protein, a little bit more workout. Do a couple squats, do some stress drills, stress training. And I know they have the trainers, they have the abilities to make this quarterback, which is Jared Goff, a little bit more durable, a lot more athletic, and a lot more mobile. Okay, he's already very durable. Make him more athletic, make him more mobile, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Okay. And you got to also, with those three things, durability, athleticism, and mobility. With those, you also have to have a fourth attribute, which is not being afraid to take a hit. You got to be the hammer, not the nail. And a lot of coaches have told me that since way back in the day, basically since I was in diapers playing football in the backyard. You got to be able to be the hammer, not the nail. Because if you're the nail, you're going to take damage, probably. Over time, you're going to take damage. It's a proven fact. They tell running backs this. Be the hammer, not the nail. Because why? You have to be the force that is delivering, and the more dominant force, because it's going to offset. Obviously, you're going to have force coming back at you. But you got to be able to offset that force. And if you're just accepting all that force with a little bit of momentum going forward, you're probably going to get injured over time. Okay, it just takes one hit. So having all those things, obviously too tight of a window to be working on all this stuff now. Something for the offseason, something to consider. But the thing is, he's a big human being. He's very long. He's got a wingspan on him. You got to be able to help your body out and give yourself a break at some point, because it's a temple. Your body's a temple, but you got to be able to take care of it. You got to be able to use it to your advantage, use it to your team's advantage. And I just would like to see that a lot more. Jared Goff's mobility will be a factor in this game today. The San Francisco 49ers defense is not going to go easy on him. That's just a proven fact. We know he's going to be taking hits. We know he's going to be testing that durability factor. How can he escape out of those third down situations and prevent third and long? And do it in first and second down. Pass the ball. Be aggressive. Give it to Amon-Ra. Give it to Laporta. Maybe even throw Zach Ertz in there. Get him a couple reps in a Lions uniform. I think the people would love to see that with that late signing. I think that was a very timely signing with Zach Ertz to assist at the tight end position. They're going to need that assistance. So it's just going to be one of those things. You got to be aggressive. You can't play scared football. Got to show up. Got to achieve the goal, which is winning the game and making it to a Super Bowl. That's the goal. That's the goal today. So where do I stand on the line? Obviously, give me the Lions with the points if I'm taking a safe bet. But I think a lot of people out there are going to be taking Lions money line, and rightfully so. They're shouting hashtag all grit all throughout the city of Detroit and surrounding areas. And just to mention the city, this is a big day for the city of Detroit. This is huge. This is monumental. So What does this mean for the city of Detroit? It means revenue. It means money into the city, an influx for the community and the economy, the local economy. It's huge for everything going on. And for the state of Michigan, it's huge. So it's a good revival. It's a good breath of fresh air kind of coming out of the winter months. We just had a really cold couple weeks here in Michigan. And so this will be nice for the people just to see their team perform and play in the conference championship. So it's exciting stuff. I'm pulling for the Lions. Give me them with the points. Give me them with the points. Just in a safe bet. We're thinking parlay scenarios only. But if you want to ride the Lightning and hop on the bull for 8 seconds, then go ahead and take a money line. I know a lot of my Lions people are going to want to do that, and they probably already have locked it in. But if you would have waited, you get even better odds today on a Sunday, just over 3 hours from kickoff. So exciting stuff. Pulling for the Lions today, riding with the Lions, and we're showing all grit today. Moving on to the AFC. Kansas City at Baltimore. Baltimore minus 4.5, changed from 3.5. And this is a big jump. To jump from 3.5 to 4.5, from 3 to 3.5 is a huge jump. To 3.5 to 4.5 is another huge jump. So what could this be attributed to? Other than the fact that Baltimore's playing at home, they're playing on a heater. Lamar Jackson has, really yet to really perform in a postseason scenario. And out of all the 4 teams here, we're looking at one team that has significant postseason and close to Super Bowl, if not Super Bowl experience, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. So to give Baltimore the minus 4.5, and they've shown me shakiness. And this is why I can't fully trust the Baltimore Ravens, is because they let me down in early October in a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They scored 10 points. They lost 17-10 to Pittsburgh, and I needed one touchdown. All I needed was one touchdown from Lamar Jackson, a rushing touchdown, which he usually gets me. He didn't get me that, and just a piss-poor performance. I see their ability to show us strength in flashes. I've yet to see it happen in the postseason. So I got to put them on semi-fraud alert, but we know Kansas City Chiefs has that same ability to show us weakness from a team chemistry perspective. They've shown us that time after time. And Patty Mahomes has been the fabric. He's been the holder. He's been the glue for this Kansas City team. And I know he's been getting on people's asses. I've seen on the sidelines that I see his mentality, and I see his attitude and his tone throughout those press conferences. He's pissed off. There's certain things that he has patience for, and there's a lot of things that if they're friendly fire type errors, he's not going to have patience for that. He's going to let people know about it. So obviously it's not going to be easy to beat Kansas City in this scenario. We've seen it happen to my Buffalo Bills. And of course, it had to be the Chiefs. It had to be the Chiefs that beat my Bills. And that is what it is. That is what it is. So regardless of what's going on, it always is what it is. And that's no different for this scenario. Baltimore minus 4.5, changed from 3.5. It's just tough for me to take that spread. Kansas City's too dangerous. If you're the Lions, I've heard multiple stories. Who would you rather play in a, I call it a doomsday scenario because it's never happened before. But if you see the Lions get to the Super Bowl, who is their opponent? It's one of these two. Okay, it's one of these two. Who would you rather have? Kansas City, which you beat by 1 point early in the season without Travis Motto, and a Baltimore team that probably made you look like the worst team in the NFL ever. And they just completely shut down the offense. That Baltimore defense was ruthless. So who would you rather play? I think it's the best of a bad scenario. I think you want the Chiefs more. So obviously I don't want to see Taylor Swift at a Super Bowl. I'm not a Swiftie, not by any stretch of the word, not even close, actually, not even close to a Swiftie. But do you want to see Kansas City or do you want to see Baltimore? Personally, and I'm not a Lions fan, I'm going to give you a perfectly objective opinion of this. I think the Lions want Baltimore. We don't want Kansas City in the Super Bowl again. Just don't want it for the entire, And do I have to bring this up? Do I have to bring this picture into view? Okay, Ron Torbert and Patty Mahomes. This is a image of them switching jerseys after the game. I know the image is fake. Okay, you don't have to tell me. I know. But it almost looks like it's legit enough to pass. Okay, with all these AI images, and Taylor Swift is actually up in arms right now for a lot of explicit images of her that have been created by AI, threatening her name, image, and likeness, which is a totally separate issue. I don't agree with people doing that. But yes, this is an altered image, but it paints a clear picture. We know the picture this picture is trying to paint. Okay, we don't have to be Van Gogh, we don't have to be Norman Rockwell to understand what's going on here with this painted picture. We don't want the refs to get on the side of the Kansas City Chiefs because we've seen it too many times. We've seen it too many times. They're becoming the new Aaron Rodgers era Green Bay Packers with getting the good side of the refs on a weekly basis. We see it a lot. And granted, they've been screwed. They've been screwed too. Okay, I don't want to throw a pity party for anybody. I just don't want to see a game come down to the officiating. That's all. And if it does, then it does. Then the refs have to make a tough call, and you gotta live with that. Don't get hung up on the calls, because chances are, if you get hung up on the calls and expect the calls to change the game, there's other factors that assisted in getting in that situation in the first place for whatever team got the short end of the stick. So a lot of things to be thinking about. I just thought that was a good thing to poke some fun at. And I just don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. Okay? Sorry. I just don't want to. Give me Baltimore and the Lions in the Super Bowl. That's how I'm feeling right now. And I'm with the mentality. I'm sharing the mentality for Detroit that, listen, you made it this far. Go on, go forth, and win it all. Go on, go forth, and win it all. And it comes down to coaching. Goes back to Dan Campbell and everything that they're able to do with that coaching core, the ownership, all of it. It's got to converge. Today is the day of convergence. It has to happen today. It has to start today. Every day, every week's a brand new beginning. Every game day is a brand new beginning for this Lions team, regardless of where they're at. Okay, they're constantly in rebuilding mode until they can get to a point of consistency where they can just build on that consistency. Never regress to the mean, though. Never regress. That's the worst thing the Lions could do. Next season, any season, regress to the mean. Don't do it, because you know it's going to screw you. Talking about this guy right here, Lamar Jackson. Okay, we already talked about how he screwed me in the Pittsburgh game. Why didn't you score one more touchdown? Was all we needed from you. One more. That's all we needed. Could have tied the game and went to OT and really improved your record. You definitely would have been the 1 seed. But this guy has to show his mobility. This guy right here is the perfect example of being mobile, being athletic, and being durable. Now, granted, he's very smart with his body. He's not like a Josh Allen wrecking ball phenom like all quarterbacks should aspire to be. But this guy is an athlete. Okay, he's an athlete. He deserves to be an NFL professional quarterback. But the thing is, he doesn't always show it. And yeah, there's other attributes that can be involved, and that's the same story for every quarterback in the NFL. I think they all have those stories. But what does he got to do differently to play well against this Chiefs defense that's very hungry? They want to get in the Super Bowl again. They want Taylor Swift at a Super Bowl. Let's be honest. They want her there. And Lamar wants a Super Bowl too. I think it's just like everybody else. Brock Purdy wants it. Believe it or not, Patty Mahomes wants another one. Travis Maotto wants another one. The Lions definitely want one. I think if any two teams deserve it the most, it's going to be Baltimore and Detroit, because they're the hungriest, first of all, and they deserve it the most. And a rematch between Baltimore and Detroit, I think, would be a hell of a game to watch. It'd be sold out television. It'd be world class. Ratings would be through the roof. So what does Lamar have to do differently? He has to be athletic. He has to not be afraid to take a hit, similar to Jared Goff, but I think he has a lot more physical attributes that can assist him with being more athletic and durable and mobile, because we've seen it more. We've actually seen it happen, unlike we've seen with Jared Goff. He's powerful through the air. He's got a good arm on him, and he can pass the ball. That's about all he's got. Needs pass protection. This guy, every quarterback likes pass protection, but you got to be able to be the catalyst, be the guy that starts the engine. Get everyone going. Offense, defense, everyone. Coaches, fans, camera guys holding the big bubble. That's the big microphone, getting all those hard hits on the microphone. Get them all fired up. You're playing at home. You're playing for John Harbaugh, which could you imagine that? 2 Harbaughs win a championship in the same year. That'd be a hell of a feat. There's a lot of things to fight for. That might even have something to do with the spread of this game, where it went up a point in favor of the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know, but I know these bookies are crazy and they think of everything. So that's what we have to do as bettors. We have to think of everything. Do we want to take Baltimore minus 4.5 though? I don't know, but I do want one thing: this guy's got to play good if they want to win, especially if they want to cover. So I'm feeling good about today. I'm feeling really good. I got a couple bets out, and we're gonna ride. We're gonna ride, and we're gonna see where it goes. But if I'm feeling really risky, this is the play I do. I take Baltimore minus 4.5 and Lions money line. Okay, that's what I do. If I'm feeling conservative, and feeling like the Chiefs are hungry for another one, give me the Chiefs money line and the Lions plus 7.5. Okay, I don't think the 49ers are going to cover that 7.5. I just don't. Deebo Samuel or not, I don't think they're going to cover that 7.5. That's a hell of a spread against a very hungry Lions team, which has only been pedal to the metal as of the last couple games, going back to exactly what I predicted happened. Decker didn't report. You see the billboards all over, even in Metro Flint. We see them. What does that do? It could have done one of two things. It would have either put the Lions in shambles, be like, you know what, woe is me. Everyone's out to get us. Detroit versus everybody. Have the mentality, but in a sad way, and not build off of it. Or two, it could have lit such a big fire under your ass that it's just like, we're going to go on and we're going to do everything we can to win it all. And they're going to have to kill us if they don't want us to. They're going to have to kill us to stop us. That mentality, that's what Dan Campbell's breeding in that Detroit Lions locker room. That's what he has to breed into his players. His players are going to go fight for him. They'll die for him. I know they will. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to hear the players talk about him in such a positive light too. It's just an amazing thing for the state of Michigan and the city of Detroit, really. So you heard both bets. You heard both the risky bet and the one that a little bit more conservative, but anything can happen. And it's playoff football, so anything can happen regardless. But we got to see what happens, see how the cards fall, and just enjoy the football while it's here, because we know it's here for a second and it's gone in a flash. I'll leave you guys with that for your Sunday, the 28th of January, 2024, almost in February. Wow. 2024 is already flying by, off to a great start. Make sure to check us out on social media. Our link tree is in the bottom of this live stream in the description. Check us out on our website, ginsportsnetwork.com and ginpros.org. And be sure to follow me on Twitter/X at GinCommish and on IG at GinCommish. So we'll be in touch very soon. Good luck today if you're placing bets. May the locks hit and go Lions, baby. Have a great day.